Well, sweet good morning to you all. And before we close our eyes and just tune in, I want to just show you something really quickly. Um, and that is, let's see, can you see? Yeah, and that is your sacred heart, your beautiful heart. So just to give you a quick visual image, your heart is in between your lungs right here, right? Very much cradled and protected in your lungs. And I just wanted to give you this visual because I think it would be good today to play with the heart. So just know with your eyes, and then we'll tune in with our breath in a moment, that your heart is cradled in between your lungs. And every time you breathe, every breath that is breathed in your body, you are literally massaging, holding, cradling, supporting, and nourishing your heart. And it's not just from the lungs expanding and condensing into the heart, it's also your shelf of your breathing diaphragm right under the heart. So, this is so important to know because our hearts can feel so tender and vulnerable, and sometimes they feel really strong and wise, and there's a kind of a mix of it all. And it can be really useful to actually feel the physicality of the emotional and energetic and spiritual heart. So come and find a seat. And it can be any seat. You can take Virasana, Sukhasana, Siddhasana. Oops, I put the lungs on backwards. So whatever seat feels inviting for you. And take your hand to your heart. And maybe if you even have the range in your shoulders, you could take one hand to the front of your heart and one hand to the back of your heart. And something that's really important about the heart is that we allow it to rest, that we allow it to receive, we allow us to receive spiritual nourishment, and that we allow the heart to remain open in the front, in the back, the sides, the top, the bottom, equally and evenly. So wherever you are in this moment, whatever you're actually able to physically touch, let your awareness drop in to right here, right now, and into your own unique rhythm, beat, pulse of your sacred, tender, wise, vulnerable, strong heart. And maybe you can even actually feel the physical beat under your hand. And notice as you begin to cultivate the Ujjayi pranayam, sweetly and slowly and deeply, drawing the length of the in and out breath, letting your glottis hug in and around, making the sound of the ocean. So as you grow a very gentle Ujjayi, as you receive the inhaling breath, feel your lungs expand, and there's some space around the heart when you do this. And as you exhale, feel the lungs condense into your heart, giving a little squeeze. A few more like that. As you inhale and the lungs expand, there's a little more space around your heart. And as you exhale, this condensing, squeezing in, a little compression, massage, cradling, right? The lungs are literally cradling your heart. Stay aware of this. Be here. Be present with your own heart, being massaged with every single breath you breathe. And then add on to this, when you inhale and there's this expansion, your breathing diaphragm moves down. So there's some more space through the bottom of the heart. And when you exhale and your breathing diaphragm returns into place, that breathing diaphragm pushes up against the heart a little, supporting it from underneath, from below. So see if you can feel that. A few more breaths here, adding on both the massaging and cradling of your lungs and from underneath the breathing diaphragm, massaging and cradling the bottom of your heart. Let it be a soft but deep Ujjayi pranayam. Rest your awareness into the sensational experience of being breathed and your own heart being cradled, massaged, loved, held, and supported by your own lung breath, by your breathing diaphragm, even by the ribs, right? The ribs are expanding and condensing. There's so much support. Can you be present to this? I know there's a lot of fear and anxiety right now as we get closer to the election, of course. But what else is there? What else can we drop in and be present to? 3 more breaths in this way. And with the 3rd exhale, follow that condense, that big, loving squeeze of a hug into your heart. We'll chant Om 3 times and the peace mantra. And when you chant, bring the chant right into the actual organ of your heart, and then literally chant out from your heart as if your heart was your mouth or your vocal cords. Let them be in concert together. As you're ready, inhaling for the first Om. Sahana vavatu, sahana bunatu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma virvishavahai. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, may all beings be protected. May all be nourished. May we all learn to work together powerfully. May our studies and practices illuminate. And may we not oppose each other. May our collective practice help to bring an embodiment of peace, equality, truth, and love for all beings. And now, as you're ready, you can release your Anjali Mudra, open your eyes, and you're going to choose one direction to go into first. So maybe let's all go together. Let's go to the left first. So go to your left first and inhale, circle towards the left, and exhale, circle back and around. Now, as you do this, allow for as much mobility and freedom as is possible for you this morning through the 126 mobile joints in your so-called rib cage, and begin to feel and experience this movement from the middle of your heart. So as you're circling, how can you feel the openness in not just the front heart, but the sides and the back and the top and the bottom, all evenly and equally? Try to stay very present with your own heart center. And it's, of course, it's never just physical. It's emotional, it's energetic, it's spiritual. So what does it feel like as you begin to make these circles through your own heart and all that your heart is holding this morning? And when you're ready, come on up and switch the directions. You'll go first now to the right, inhaling forward, exhaling back and around. Using the Ujjayi Pranayam, open your jaw, widen your tongue, and then release your tongue. Let the circles be as slow or as fast as is right for you. Let them be as small or as big as is right for you. And let the breath, let your unique rhythm of breath carry you through each circle, being right here, right now, present to your own heart. That's how we become present with the hearts of others. Present with your heart allows you to be present with others' hearts. And when you feel ready, just bring these circles right on over to hands and knees. So you might need to pause for a moment in the circle, but then once you come to hands and knees, we'll circle again. So yes, you're going to move your spine. Yes, you're going to push from hands through the tail, tops of the feet through to the crown. But keep your awareness centered in the middle of your heart so that it feels as though the heart is initiating the circle. And when you feel rooted on your hands and your knees, check it out and see if what's in your heart, which ultimately, I really believe in everyone's heart, lies the seeds of compassion, of forgiveness, of love, and of generosity. So allow the seed in your heart to grow and let that prana, right? Because there's a vayu, there's a wind, there's a current of prana that moves from your heart and it moves really through your whole body, right? Traditionally, we say that the vayu moves from the heart up into the throat and towards the head. But I feel that the heart energy moves down the arms into the wrists and your hands, and it moves up towards your brain, and it moves down into all your organs below and around the heart, and down into the legs and into the feet. Good, so take just a few more circles here and go in the opposite direction, letting your heart be the keystone, so the place in which you initiate the movement. It might mean you need to go really slow in order to feel that your heart is initiating movement and that your heart is staying open in the back just as much as the front. Then you might need to change what you normally would do. Good, and then when you're ready, pause, look down. So look down between your thumbs. Let your brain rest so that it moves a little closer to your heart, but let your bony skull reach forward. Feel your bony coccyx, that's your tailbone, reach back. And then through your low belly and mid belly organs, see if you can scoop all those organs like a bouquet of flowers up into you so that you're not sagging or collapsing down at all. And then come and bring your tippy fingers to the earth. Open your knees a little wider and bring your big toes together. Bend your elbows down towards the earth. Push your fingers down and away from you, reaching your bony coccyx back, and keep scooping your low belly and mid belly organs into you. Lower your forehead to the earth or to a block or blanket. Keep yielding and pushing your tippy fingers into the earth. Float your palms up, your underarms, your armpits up. And then breathe into the space, front heart, back heart, sides of heart, top and bottom. Feel your lungs cradling and massaging your own heart. Be here. Be present to that. Good. 2 more breaths just like this. And this is active. This balasana, this child's pose is very active. So to help you stay active in it, press the tops of your feet, shins and knees, down and in towards each other. And you can pulse in and out of that push. That will help you stay supporting up through your pelvic floor and in through the pelvic belly and navel belly organs, fat, fascia, and muscles. Now, the next time you exhale, follow it all the way to empty and pause in that empty space to really allow your heart to get squeezed a moment longer. Then, when you need to, come on up, inhaling, come back to Baramanasana, hands and knees. Come on up to your tippy fingers again, or bring your hands on your blocks. Bring your knees together and step your right foot up between your hands. Curl your back toes under, and with an exhale, press that left heel towards the back wall. Now, as you scoop your low belly and mid belly organs and other viscera into you, see if that helps you to reach your tail back, your crown forward, but then rest your brain a little bit down. It's not that it's going to collapse, but the brain is going to rest rather than reach forward. Good. Now, if you want to, we're going to come up. It's a bit of a balance. So scoop your right sitting bone under, press your 2 pelvic halves, legs and feet down and away from one another. Draw up through your inner thighs. Pelvic floor rises, belly pit comes in and up, and you rise. It's a high balancing lunge. High balancing Anjaneyasana. Keep pressing back through the back left leg, but allow that pelvic half to wrap internally. So in the way that your ribs and lungs are hugging into the heart, your pelvic halves are hugging in to the pubic disc and also to support the organs of the low belly. When you're ready, arms out to the sides, exhale, come down. Now push from your hands through to your tail, slip yourself into Palakasana. And in plank here, check out and see that your collarbones stay wide. Anyone who wants to modify this, just lower your knees. It's fine to be in table instead of plank, for real. And it's also fine to take your turn, one knee comes up and then the other knee comes down. So knees take turns rising, but do really ground down very firmly through your pointer fingers and your thumbs. That's going to help the bony structure protecting the front heart. Hollowing your groins back towards you as you reach your tail back behind you. Now, push off from your toes, glide forward. I like to roll over my feet. That's optional. I like to massage the toes, your choice. Lower your knees. Recurl your toes under if you did roll over them. Ashtangasana pranam, so hug the upper arms into you. You can bow halfway. You know who you are if halfway is enough for you. So please don't go further if it's too much. If you want, you bring your chest all the way to the earth, chin to the earth. Now keep pushing your hands very firmly down and away from you. You're getting a very sweet compression into the front heart, but then see if you can draw your heart into you a little bit, rather than push it into the earth. So let the earth come up into you, earth hugging your front heart, and then your heart coming back into you a little bit. Keep drawing your navel belly into you to support your lumbar spine here, and then push off from your toes. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Stay here for the exhale in Cobra. You can come lower, right? This is the first Cobra. Come lower if you want to. And then as you draw your belly pit in and up, does that help you be able to slide up through the ligament in the front of your spine so that your heart can rest back? Yes, push from your hands through to your tail. Yes, drop your shoulders and widen the collarbones. And then yes, rest your heart back as your lungs wrap around to hold and support you. And when you're ready, your choice, child's pose or downward facing dog. And those of you who are in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, feel free to move. Feel free to take a little dance here. I find the heart loves dance, right? Once upon a time when we were in a studio, we were going to have Susan do a lot of dance, right? Well, she did do it, but then we couldn't do it anymore. But we will dance again together someday. It will happen. So for now, we dance together in the energetic space that holds us in unity. We dance in our dog. So spiral, weave, churn. What leads you here in the movement? Can you really give yourself to the length and the space and the depth of the Ujjayi pranayama? It opens up all sorts of doorways. Good, and then come to stillness. And with as many steps as you need to, and you can lower the right knee first, you'll take the left foot up between your hands. And we're up already, so you don't have to lower the knee first, just stay up. If you didn't lower the knee, that is, and press back through your right heel. Now, notice if your hips are swaying to the left, and just bring them to the middle of your mat. Squeeze your pubic bones into the disc between them. Let the disc come back towards your sacrum. Now, as you support, so organs slip back into you so that your crown and tail can reach away from each other. And then very mindfully, you yield into yourself. Here you are. You yield into the earth. There she is. And then you push. And as you push, you receive the rise, inner thighs, pelvic floor, belly pit, and you come up, only if you want to. The space of the Ujjayi, the liquidity of the Ujjayi invites compression, love, and support into your heart. And maybe you rest your heart back just a little bit more. Tongue, jaw soft, brain resting down. Good, and then arms out to the sides as you exhale, come down. And again, slip into plank, palakasana, or table. Ashtangasana pranam, knees, chest, chin. Thread the stem of your breathing diaphragm down towards your pelvic floor to help you not collapse through your ribs and heart. Let your heart yield into you as you feel the earth coming up into your heart. Push off from your toes, slide forward and up. Stay here, extra breath. Ground down through your pointer fingers. How are your collarbones? And exhale, child's or down dog. Remember too, your hands can be on blocks. Blocks are really important, and I'm gonna actually grab mine. Good, now from here, from downward facing dog, and you can do this in table as well, so feel free to come down to hands and knees if you prefer. You're gonna step your big toes so that they're either touching or only have maybe like an inch or two between them. And then pressing very evenly through your hands, your arms, your shoulder girdle, you're gonna float your right leg up so that the toes and the knee are pointing down. Good, now bend the left knee a little. Draw your low pelvic belly viscera into you. Lift up out of the left hip and roll your right hip on top of it, reaching the balls of your right foot up towards the sky. Now try to keep your shoulders neutral, right? You're going to want to lift up that right shoulder more, but try not to. Try to keep even and steady. And then go ahead and bend your knee and slide the energy of your heart down your body, down the front of the spine, and let it go sliding your femur bone and then your knee up to the sky. Good. And then re-straighten the leg, re-parallel your two pelvic halves, and with as many steps as you need, step your right foot up between your hands. From here, spin the left heel in, root it back behind you and then down so that heel bone slides back in space and then roots to the earth. Scoop your right sitting bone under. Pelvic halves, legs and feet yield, push down and away. Inner thighs, pelvic floor, belly pit rises and you rise. Virabhadrasana 1. So when you rise here, let's make our way into an easy Gomukhasana arms. Drop your right arm down your back and reach your fingers up your back. Drop your left elbow. So not your left elbow, but your left hand. Left elbow is pointing up. And you're just going to hold space. You don't have to hold your hands. Only go to the hand holding if that's right for you, if there's actually ease in doing that. Now, let's give the thigh a little break. So push down and away, straighten the leg, inhale, come up, and exhale, sit back down. And do that again. Yield and push through both feet and legs. Inhale, rise. Feel the pelvic floor supporting up. And exhale, sit. Now, direct your breath into the back bottom lobes of your lungs and see if that allows your heart to feel, oh yeah, I'm held from behind. And see if you can start to rest back. And as you rest back, your lungs will actually wrap a little bit back so that literally the lungs wrap to hold your tender, wise, strong, vulnerable heart. Open your jaw and then lift your jaw joints straight up towards the top of your head. Good, now come on upright, release your arms, push down and away, inhale, straightening that right leg. And as you exhale, come on all the way down, spin the back heel up and hollow through that left front groin as you come down, slip into plank. This time it's Chaturanga Dandasana. You can lower the knees first. For support, stay wide through the collarbones and long through your cervical spine. Bow. Pull yourself through. Tops of the thighs come up off the floor. Are you still squeezing into the disc between your pubic bones? And is it receding into you just like your heart? And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, now the other side. So your big toes are either together, about an inch between them. And then float the left leg up, toes and knee are pointing down. You have parallel pelvic halves, you have parallel lungs and thoracic halves, right? It's all neutral. Now, as you go to lift up out of the right hip and you roll the left on top, you're changing. It's not neutral anymore in the pelvic halves, but can you actually stay neutral in your thoracic halves as you roll through your lungs, your ribs, your belly, and reach that left foot up? And really reach up with the balls of the foot. And then go ahead and bend the knee. Push a little more from your hands through to your tail. Slide the stem of your breathing diaphragm towards your tail as you reach your tail and your knee up. And then, believe it or not, the heart is supporting this energetically. The heart energy can actually go down your body and support this. And then re-straighten, reach up with the balls, and draw the groins into a hollow state as you re-parallel your pelvic halves. And step up with as many steps as you need. Left foot up between your hands. And then I always come to my tippy fingers here. So do that if it's helpful. You know why? Because otherwise I'll round in my back. I'll collapse in my front heart if I don't come up to my tippy fingers. So do that or come to blocks so that you're mindful to keep the collarbones wide. Now spin that back foot to about a 45-degree angle. See if you can slide that heel bone back and then root it. Now re-scoop the left sitting bone under. Press the legs and feet down and away. Activate your arches up. Inner thighs up, pelvic floor, low belly, low deep belly, and you rise, Virabhadrasana 1. And then right elbow up, left arm comes down. So it's the cow's face arms, Gomukhasana arms. Hands can rest on your back, they can hold your shirt, or they can hold each other. Now come out of it a moment, press down, straighten the leg, inhale. Exhale, sit back down. And then do that again. Yield to yourself, yield to the earth. Push down, inhale, come up. And exhale, sit. Direct your breath into the back of your lungs. When we breathe into our back bottom lungs, we nourish our kidneys. When we juicify and nourish our kidneys, the adrenals say, okay, I don't need to be freaking out all the time. I'll sit down. And then the heart says, oh, it's safe. I can rest. I can be here now and be present with what is now. So resting back, lungs wrapping around to the back body to support the heart resting. And then coming upright, when you feel ready, releasing the arms, pushing down, inhale, straightening the leg, reach up, feel your pelvic floor rise, feel it rise as you spin the back heel up, hollow through the groins, and come on down. Touch the earth with wide collarbones. Slip into plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha, wide in the back and the front, and exhale, Adho Mukha. Nourishing, cleansing, Ujjayi Pranayam. right? Polishing the mirror. That's the title of one of Ram Dass's books. And it's so good. Polishing the mirror. Polish yourself with your breath so that you can see clearly what is truth, what is love, what is it to rest your awareness right here, right now. Good, now we're gonna come into Virabhadrasana 1 again, but we'll do it a little differently this time. So this time, spin your left heel in front of your right toes so that you roll into an external rotation through your foot, leg, and pelvic half. Reach your left heel back and down, and then push off. It's like a little bit of fun, so it's joyful. Push off from the left foot as many steps as you need to bring the right foot up. And then let's actually come into Vira 2 from here. So bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Now from your heart, reach your left arm and hand forward, right out in front of you. And then as you inhale, push down, straighten the leg, bring the arm up and around and sit down, Virabhadrasana 2. Now as you exhale, draw your hands into Anjali Mudra. And then feel yourself move from the middle of your heart. Inhale, open it up. And as you condense through the breath, the arms draw in, hold your heart. Inhale, expand, open. Exhale, hold your heart. You're sitting down a little bit deeper into Vira 2. Good, now this time, inhale from the middle of your heart, emanate open and stay. And then move with it. So as if you were doing aspiring warrior, just windmill yourself to the left. And as if you were doing Utthita Parjvakonasana, exhale and bring yourself to the right. But keep your arms in a moving pattern. Inhale, move into the touching into aspiring warrior. Exhale, move into the pattern of extended side angle. So you're going to move back and forth. If your thigh gets tired, push down and straighten it, no problem. You don't need to overwork your quadriceps. They get plenty of work. Now, as you continue to do this a few more times, pay extra attention to the middle of your heart, to your heart spinning and rolling, and your lungs spinning and rolling to support. Good. And then the next time that you come over, go ahead and do place that right forearm onto your thigh. Press your forearm into your thigh so that you come up out of your right shoulder. Now you can stay here, or you can bring your hand to a block in front of your foot, or you can slide your hand all the way down to your foot. How wide are your collarbones? And by the way, something going on in this left shoulder, you don't need to sweep the arm up overhead. You can lift it straight up, or you can touch your hand to your heart, or you can drape that left arm back around behind you. So a couple more breaths here. Slide your krua down to your tail. And as you do that, roll through your lungs. Rest your heart back as your lungs go to look up towards the sky, and let the vibration of your heart influence the open tube of space in your throat, your neck, reaching top of skull forward, meaning towards your right toes, that way forward. Good. Now, if your arm is back behind you, sweep it overhead again. Push down. Inhale, come up, straightening. Reverse your warrior, but with a straight leg. So slip your arm, left arm back around behind you. Right arm is up overhead and just roll through your lungs. Micro bend your knees so you can push feet through to your crown, rolling through lungs, resting heart, lifting jaw joints straight up towards the top of your skull and lifting the base of your skull a little. Good. Now from here, it's Trikonasana. So bend both knees, go down to come up, and again, spin through your lungs, your heart. Rest hand on shin or in front of leg or on a block. And feel the spiral again through your lungs and your heart. Rest your head back. So you do toss it back a little, but then feel the current of energy moving from the middle of your heart up through your throat, neck, and into your brain, and then reach your crown past your big right toe. And now we're going to turn down to the floor. So as you exhale, turn down, hollow through the left hip joint and groin as you come down. Slip into plank. Wide through the collarbones, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull yourself through, inhaling, open through the back space of the heart. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause to be present with what is here in you right now. Polish the inner mirror with the cleansing breath. And then spin the right heel in front of the left toes and actually feel, I was talking about this at one point in the training this weekend. It's like every aspect of our body is holy. The divine presence is in everything. So when you go to spin, it's like sometimes I have this whole like, oh my God, like love affair with everything going on in the body because I actually experience it as this holy temple. So I'm curious, can you feel that? Can you like find the awe as you spin? Like what an awesome miracle. Spin the right foot, leg, pelvic half. How do we move? And how do these very holy parts and pieces of our wholeness express themselves? So as you reach your right heel back in space and lower to the earth, there's joy. There's a little woohoo. You push off from the foot and you step the left up. And then you reground, right? You reground. You press your left hand into your femur. You scoop that left sitting bone under, you tether it to the second toe ball on the left foot, and then reach your right arm out in front of you. Feel the space and the length in your spine, and then inhale, come up, bring that arm up. I always straighten my left leg here. You're welcome to do that. Circle the arm back and around, then sit down. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Virabhadra, right? The mythological being, the warrior that grew out of the fire that came out of Shiva's dreadlock. Anjali Mudra, collect into your heart. Feel the fire in your own heart. Feel the air in the lungs that support the heart. And then let the spark of aspiration in your heart through the air in your lungs. Inhale, open your arms. And exhale, collect back in. From middle heart, inhale, float the arms out. And exhale, collect back in. Good, and from the middle of your heart, one last time, inhale, open it up. If you want, you can straighten that leg, come up, and then sit back down. Virabhadrasana 2, spiritual warrior, grown out of the fire of Shiva's dreadlock. And when you're ready, as if you were doing a reverse warrior, you melt towards the right, you squeeze into your right lung, and then come on over as if you were doing extended side angle. And move in harmony with the depth of your breath. Let it bring you swaying side to side. Initiate from your heart, roll through your lungs, and feel what it is. This is a very beautiful inquiry for the sides of the heart, right? Because we're going laterally side to side. So you really can experience what's going on through the compression and through the expansive space in the side lungs. And then when you're ready, come on over it. Place your left forearm onto your thigh. Push your forearm into your thigh and lift up out of your shoulder. choose what you want to do with your right arm. It's up overhead, or you reach your hand straight up to the sky, or you touch your heart, or you drape that arm back around behind you. And of course, you're very welcome to lower your left hand to a block or to the floor. But don't compromise the space. Keep open space, front and back heart evenly, collarbones wide. Feel the space too in the back of the ribs. And then what do you do with your neck and your head here? You know, it's always a problem, right? What do I do with my head? What do I do with my thoughts? They keep coming back. You watch them, you love them. So you toss your head back a little bit and you go, okay, yeah, I see you're thinking again. Of course, it's what the ego mind does. It's not a problem. And then you let the love and the compassion and the forgiveness of your heart float up into your neck and your throat. And you let that influence the actual organ of your brain. Good. Now, when you're ready, you're going to bring yourself up, push down, straighten the leg, and reverse the aspiring, or not reverse it, but come into the reverse, come into aspiring warrior, straightening that left leg. Now, micro bend your knees so that you don't just rest into the right side hip joint. Micro bend knees and push feet to head. Yeah, you're spinning. It's a big spin through the lungs and the heart. And then to come into Trikonasana, micro bend the back, right knee. You want to push off from it. It's just as much as a spin as it is a reach. And go into the depth of the spin through the breathing diaphragm. Those of you who know the transverse colon, oh, it's a gorgeous spin through your transverse colon. Rest your left hand wherever you want to, a block, your shin out in front of the leg. Drink in the nectar from your breath, resting in the heart's pulse here and now. Your unique heart pulse here and now. Now with your next exhale, you're going to turn down, you spin the back heel up, hollow your groins, draw the bouquet of organ flowers and viscera flowers into you as you come down. Slip into plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull yourself through and push yourself back. Adho Mukha. Good. And come on into plank again. And from plank, lower your left knee. Press down with the left knee, shin and foot, so that they merge into the earth. And then you can come up to your fingers or your blocks, and you're going to step your right foot up between your hands, and you're going to come up to a boxy lunge. So it's not a low, deep lunge, unless you really want that. If your heart is calling for it, go for it. But otherwise, you're going to come up into this boxy lunge. You see it's a 90-degree angle on the front right knee. Now, you can place a blanket under your left knee if it's not feeling so nice on the earth here. Now, drawing your belly pit in and up, slide up through the front of your spine. Let the top skull reach up, brain rest. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra and let it be a firm Anjali. Press your hands into each other. Now, drop your right hip down a little bit. If it's sticking out to the side, just drop it a little without collapsing. And then taking your left side ribs and lung, and then feel your heart in between, spiraling to the right. And you're going to push your left arm into your right thigh and really lift yourself up out of it. So because we're in a boxy lunge, we get to focus more on the heart center. So keep pressing arm into leg, lift up, hands into each other, slide your hands down, keep spinning. So when I say slide your hands down, they're moving towards the direction of your tail. Now, if you want to, if you're in the mood, sure, you can curl your back toes under and press the heel and tail to the back wall. Keep your awareness steady in the heart, in your heart. Feel your heart spinning. Let it be a very attentive journey of the sensorial experience of heart and lungs and ribs. You'll find they can keep spinning much more than you thought. I'm not talking about forcing yourself into something. I'm talking more about the energetic experience that leads to the physical opening. Now, anyone who wants to, you're going to slide down, touch your left fingers to the floor, and then wrap your arm under your leg and hold. Your left hand will hold your right wrist. And again, you rest back and spin just a little bit more, only if your body wants to go. Good. And then wherever you are, toss your head back a little more. Don't take all your thoughts so seriously. And then when you're ready, melt out of it, touch down. Curl your toes under, step back, downward facing dog. You know, the nature of the ego mind is to think, the ahankara, the I maker. The ego mind, it thinks, it's what it does. It judges, it evaluates. There's nothing wrong with you or it. But is that what you want leading your life? Is that the thing you want to align with most? So this is what polishing the mirror is about. This is about presence. What's happening? Where's truth? And where's your heart in it? Now push off from your toes, glide forward into plank. Open wide horizontally through your collarbones, your back throat, your back skull, your back heart. And then lower the right knee. Press firmly the right foot, shin, and knee into the earth. You'll feel yourself lift up out of that right hip. Draw your belly pit in and up and step your left foot up and rise to the boxy lunge on the second side. Notice if you're collapsing into the standing hip, and if you are, push down and lift up. Lift up, pelvic floor, belly pit. Belly pit will always help you take yourself up out of the collapse in the joints. Anjali Mudra. Slide up, grow taller, grow braver, grow in your sincerity. And then spin. It's like, okay, here comes humility. I don't know where I'm spinning to, but I'm going to rest into my heart. I'm going to let awareness literally rest in the heart and feel the heart and the lungs and the ribs spin. Push your arm into your leg, lift up out of your shoulder. Push your hands into each other and slide them tailward. Reach your tail back. Reach your skull forward. Rest your brain. Jaw, tongue. Yes, you're very welcome to curl the toes under and press back through the heel. But again, let this really be, in this posture, we're really concentrating on the ever-growing, spiraling and opening through heart, lungs, ribs. Use your belly organs. Let them undulate back into you to give you even more support to spin. Breath by breath, we go deeper. Breath by breath, we polish the mirror. And then if you want to, you lower that right arm down to the floor, and the hand is to the outside of your left foot. And then you go ahead and slip the arm under your leg. So in the olden days, we used to call this wrap and bind. And then your right hand would hold the left wrist. And if your hips are swaying off to the left, squeeze the pubic bones into the disc, bring your hips into the center. This is a very profound inner and outer experience of a twist. So stay very present with it. Nourish it breath by breath, reaching crown and tail away from each other to keep the vertical space as you spin into the depth of what's possible. And when you feel you've had enough, let the sweet nectar of your breath guide you out and slip into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, slide again into plank. Lower your left knee, and then this time slip your right knee up in between your hands. And I'm going to suggest block. So this is not pigeon as you know it to be. This is this is like pigeon's cousin. This is Ekapada Rajakapotasana. I don't know how to say cousin in Sanskrit. Forget it. So the right knee is slipping forward. Walk your left leg back. Let the left pelvic half wrap internally. Now, as you exhale, press the two legs down and in as if you were going to draw them together. You see how it lifts your pelvic floor up? And then sit back down. And then press legs down and in and lift up. And sit back down. One more time, just like that. Top of your right foot and left foot are on the earth. Your right heel moves into your sitting bone, maybe kind of near your sitting bone. Now sit down and stay here. But don't collapse. So that little lifting coming in and out of it, that pulsing down and up, that stays alive in you. I might not see you rise up in a big way and sit back down, but that action, it's about this constant sponging and resting back any amount, heart resting back. What's your tongue and jaw and base of skull doing? What about your hyoid bone? Could you touch the tip of your tongue to the hard palate behind your top teeth so that you stabilize the hyoid bone? Good. Now we're going to take a slightly different variation of this. You're going to lean forward, lean onto your right pelvic half, and then bend your left knee and flex your foot a lot. And then take your right leg out in front of you. And you're going to let the shin be parallel to the short edge of your mat. And I'm going to suggest that you take a blanket under your right pelvic half. So this is also a cousin of pigeon. So you've got a deep bend in both knees, and you can bring this left knee out to your left pelvic half. You don't bring it back. It's a very different thing than pigeon. Now, flexing both feet, draw your two pelvic halves into each other, into the disc between them rather. Draw your belly pit up, slide up through your spine, feel your heart open through all sides, right? There's no pushing forward anywhere. And then let yourself bow. So you're going to bow over the right leg. You might come down to your forearms. You might come down to your forearms on your blocks. You might stay upright because you might say, ooh, that's a lot on the hip rotators of my right pelvic half. So you're going to play with this, coming down. It is a forward bow. So be mindful of the art of when going forward, your whole self goes forward. Lengthen the ujjayi, especially on the exhale. So a longer exhaling breath and a pause when you're empty. Keep the feet flexed, keep pulsing your pelvic halves into the disc between them. Keep pushing your forearms down and away. And anyone who wants to, you can take a little walk. You can walk your front body, you draw it up into you, you lift it up off your leg, and then you walk your torso and your arms around to the right. And then you push your forearm down and away, and you straighten your left arm and you reach so that there's compression into the right side, lung and heart, and expansion through the left side, lung and heart. So there's no right or wrong here. Play with this. Keep relating back to yourself with presence and the earth with presence. And stay a little longer in the exhale and in the empty space after it. 3 more breaths, just like that. And as you're ready, let the exhale empty. Pause in the empty space, waiting to receive. And then walk your way around, come into the center, come on upright. Now, you're going to swing your back left leg around. You'll come to sit for a moment. You'll move your blanket to the other side. And then lean forward, step back, downward facing dog. Focusing on the Ujjayi Pranayama. Come forward into plank. Lower your right knee and slide your left knee forward. Remember, you can have your hands up on your blocks. You're going to walk your right leg back. Keep wrapping that right pelvic half internally, and you're just going to do the same pulsing. So as if you were going to close your legs, and be really mindful to keep that low pelvic belly drawing into you. So pulse your legs down and in towards each other, a little up through the pelvic floor, and then sit back down. It really can be either cycle of the breath. So whichever one feels natural for you is fine. You can rise on the inhale or rise on the exhale, whatever one you want to do. I often do both. I switch them up. See what feels authentic for you. Good, and then when you do sit back down this next time, you keep that sponging action alive and resting back any amount. It doesn't have to be big, bigger isn't better. We know that. And then when you feel complete, you'll lean off to your left pelvic half and you'll swing around. So the right leg will come to bend a lot. The right knee will bend. You'll take your blanket under your left side sitting bone and you can fold it up as high as you need to. The left shin is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Both feet are flexed. Pulse the pelvic halves into the disc. Draw your belly pit in and up and slide up through your spine. And then walk your way down. Feel the gentle rainbow curve of your spine in this bow and push your forearms down and away from you. Keep your feet flexed so that the arches of your feet stay active, doming upwards. And then you choose, you stay right here or you walk around to the left. And you push down and away with the left forearm and you reach with the right. Compression into your left side, lung and heart. Expansion through the right. So play as you want to. Keep that yield and push into the earth to help you stay stable, yielding into yourself. It goes both ways. The more we come into ourselves, the more we can relate to other. And when we relate deeply to earth as other, there's that direct connection back into the truth of ourselves. At least that's my experience. Right? Being out in nature is my medicine. It's my happy place. So that's what I notice. What do you notice? Few more breaths here and allow yourself to lengthen the exhale and pause in the space after it. When you feel content, you'll make your way into the center and you'll begin to walk yourself upright. That back right leg, you'll come swing it around. You come sit for a moment. You remove your blanket. And then just for harmony and balance on the two sides, we'll do the same thing. So lean forward, step back into downward facing dog. And either jump or walk your feet to your hands after you've exhaled and you are hanging out in the empty space. So stay empty for the walk or the hop. And when you arrive, wave out, inhale. Bow, exhale. Let each hand hold your elbow. Pour forward, Uttanasana. Bend your knees as much as you need to protect your unique spine, but then push strongly, feet to head. Let yourself be present to this bow. Where's your heart? Good. And then slowly sit down. Sit down. And roll down. So nice and slow. Let it be one seamless movement, right? How do we embody vinyasa? It means to place things in a sacred and creative way. How do we move from one thing to the next in a state of fluidity, harmony, grace, and ease? So roll your way down all the way onto your back. Take either a supported with a block or on your own Setubandha bridge pose. So you're either coming up just as you are or you're resting on your block. And when you come up, let your heart rest. And then you're going to choose, you stay for the next couple breaths in your bridge, or you bring it into Viparita Karani. So wherever you are, whatever version, receive your own heart and the beauty of it. Receive it physically into you just as much as you receive it energetically into you. It could be a Sarvangasana instead of Viparita Karani. And then wherever you are, count 7 more breaths. And when you've released the last breath, make your way into Shavasana. And as you come into Shavasana, let go of controlling your body, your breath, your mind, and just let what is be. Let your heart rest into the heart of the Mother Earth, pulsing in harmony together. Allow your Shavasana to be a checking in with your spiritual heart in this last minute. A checking in. Where are you? Who are you? What is here, now, and present in your spiritual heart? And then taking your time, slowly gather yourself. Let your heart lead your way without getting hard or pushy. Let your heart lead your way to coming to your side and up to the seat of your comfort. You're always welcome to stay longer for Shavasana. Another beautiful aspect of being at home, you don't have to get out of Shavasana until you want to. And then I always like to remind you, take another Shavasana later. Take a Yoga Nidra later. It's good. Our nervous systems really need it. So drawing your hands into Anjali Mudra. Let there be a space in the cup of your hands. So remember, Anjali meaning an offering, a measurement full, right? So hold your Anjali of whatever is in your heart, whatever's in your prayer, whatever's in your aspiration, and pause and be present with it. And we'll close with a single chant of Om and 3 chants of Shanti. Exhaling and inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Peace to your heart, peace to all hearts. Thank you.